And it appears we are live. Okay. Swing with the pontoon first. Stuart. Hey, man. Hey. If you look in the description of the video, I've got your new site or your new page for Instagram linked down below so people can take a look. And again, we are wearing the Glockness Monster. Man, party time. Yes. So Glockness Monster, I am wearing it again. It is comfortable. I am here to tell you, I love this shirt. It does. I have not stained it yet. I've wore it around, but I was careful because I knew I was going to wear it in this stream again. So I was careful not to stain it. But here soon, it's going to go in my normal lineup, and as comfortable as it is, it's going to get beat up. But again, check in the link or in the description. I have Nordic Devaden's Instagram where you can check out the different shirts he's got. He sent me another one. It's pretty cool. I want to get your guys' input on it. It's the Tactical Pontoon logo, but it's got kind of a worn look to it. It's pretty cool. Once I saw it, I was like, I gotta have one. Also in green because that's me. All right, Matt, PSA. Thank you for coming on last week. That was a lot of fun. Everybody who's watching, give Matt PSA a round of applause for sticking around, answering some questions. Maybe I hope he didn't get into too much trouble from PSA, but I think we had a good time. We got to talk some triggers and whatnot, and the dagger. I do need to get another dagger frame here soon. I got an idea for a build on a dagger, so it's fun. Another one we've got going on is the I picked up another SCT frame. I like the SCT frame, and I have something. I'm not going to tell you on the slide. It's another company I haven't worked with ever, but I like the design. And actually, Matt was the one who turned me on to that. Hey, Mike, good to have you here. I hope that one customer, or well, that one guy who didn't decide to become a customer, I hope he's doing well with his trigger choice. Again, I want to talk about some stuff, and we'll get there. So Bobby Day, hey man, what's up? We are talking gun stuff and triggers and Glocks and all that good stuff. Another build, like I said, SCT frame is here. Got to give Matt the shout out for turning me on to the slide that's going to pair with this. I'm not going to tell you which one it is yet. Once it gets in here, we will. I am stealing your ideas, Matt. Trade for trade on ideas. So definitely, this one's going to be really neat. With the SCT frame, there's a lot of lines to it. It reminds me of a stealth, like the old stealth, the old Lockheed stealth. I love that bird, but I cannot. It's been decommissioned for way too long, or officially decommissioned for way too long. So the Stealth Fighter by Lockheed. These frames remind me of it, and the slide kind of does too. This frame, yeah, Bobby, I love these frames. I've got one at Unicorn Customs right now, and then this one is going out to Pacali Gunworks. He is going to do the stippling, and then we will find somebody for the Cerakote, because he doesn't do that in house, not yet. But his shop is growing, and he is also an official Glock, or an official Tactical Pontoon installer, so he can get you hooked up. But I'll find somebody for the Cerakote. It'd be kind of a stealthy, maybe an urban camo design or something. But this one's coming along. This one's going to be pretty awesome. You'll want to see it. Did you guys catch my latest video that I did this week on the G17L boomerang? Did you catch that video? That was a fun video. It was hard to get this entire gun in frame, so I could show you guys up close. I ended up having to take it apart to really get close enough to look at it. That was a fun video. If you haven't, check it out. Like I said, this is the gun that when they reboot RoboCop, this is the one they're going to be running. At least that's my prediction. That one's a fun video. Check out SRB Customs, who did the framework. Awesome guy. His turnaround's good. Well, his turnaround should be good. Last time I talked to him after the video came out, and not because of me, he said books are filling up. Even though in my video I said his books were open, he says his books are filling up, but he still has room, and he's got some love for the Tactical Pontoon people that come from here. So SRB Customs LLC, you can find him on Instagram. He's got a website. Awesome dude, and his framework is amazing. So how's everybody's week been? It's been a long one in the Tactical Pontoon world. I'm not even gonna lie. I wouldn't even pretend to say otherwise. This week, I can't believe it's still been this week because this is Sunday. On Wednesday, I did a live stream on Instagram with United R&D Firearms. I've talked about them. I was gonna have their slide in here, but I don't have it right here with me. But United R&D Firearms, we are going to be doing a collaboration builds, as in a run of them. There will be 5. They're limited to 5. I believe all 5 are going to be either 19X or G45s. Okay, so it'll which is my favorite type of frame. We talked about doing something that was something that I personally would run. That's why it's gonna be headed by the Tactical Pontoon name. Obviously, Tactical Pontoon triggers. There'll be a Peacemaker 4.0, which is my favorite of all of the Peacemaker drop-ins. It's kind of the mid-range weight-wise, and that's the one that I really like. So again, we talked, we spec'd some stuff out, and more details will come, but I'm really excited about this. I think within the next couple weeks we should have more information. But if you missed out on their live stream on Instagram, and my goal is to eventually have one or both Jason or Mike on one of these streams, since I had to put up with them. Don't miss out on the streams on Instagram. They do it every Wednesday, and they give stuff away. I gave away a trigger, and they gave away some stickers, Bluetooth speakers. There's some other stuff they gave away. It was a lot of fun. I had fun there, and it's a little bit different doing a live stream on your phone versus my little setup here. But they also announced that they are going to, on all of their builds, they will be Tactical Pontoon when it comes to the trigger. They were tired of dealing with not, kind of iffy triggers, kind of the basic off the wall or off the shelf type stuff. And finally, they decided to make the switch over to Tactical Pontoon. Now, I've one of my very first slides was from United R&D when it was just Mike, and when he was doing it on a mill, just a regular manual mill. There you go. Yeah. Stuart had won a Glock magazine. That's the other thing they gave away was Duramags that they powder coated. Pretty nice. I may have my brother throw one on a laser, do some extra to it. Good guys. So if you haven't already, check them out. It's United R&D. It's kind of hard to find on Instagram, but it's easy to find on Google. United R&D Firearms. Very easy to find. I'll try to link it somewhere. On my Instagram, that's also a great place to be because I link a little bit of everything. So check them out. Good guys. These builds are going to be great. It's limited to 5. There's only going to be 5 of them. That's it. We hit a certain price point without being, we wanted the best that we could get and a truly worthy weapon, but without going full on craziness. Just wait. Details are coming. You guys are going to want to see this. great company. They do some amazing work. So I'm excited to work with them. If you saw my Instagram earlier, I've got like 6 or 7 triggers that I built today headed out their way. And for their own personal guns and customer guns and that sort of thing. It's been busy. Again, going back to that, it's been busy this week. It's been busy this entire year, but it feels like this week dragged on. And so I do want to say, if you've messaged me lately and maybe it didn't seem like I I was short with you, aside from my height, it's not because you upset me. It's probably because I have been busy. And as busy as it's been, there've also been kind of a run of interesting interactions with customers, both former customers or people who thought they wanted to be customers and they just didn't become customers. If you're on Instagram, maybe, and I'm not going to bring too much of this, but if you got hit with a message on Instagram from some random person, I know Stuart did, about me not being a trustworthy person to buy from because I returned some guy's money. I returned his money. The story behind that, we might as well get into it, even if you haven't heard it, is I had a guy who wanted an HK VP9 trigger. I built an awesome trigger system for those. I talked to him for about 2 weeks, back and forth. He had multiple different questions. I'm all for questions. I will answer questions, and I did. I did. I did try. I answered his questions as best as possible. He wanted to know about the trigger shoes that I use, the modifications that I do, what makes mine better than just the Lazy Wolf trigger shoe, all of that sort of thing. So I did so. And he asked Glock questions as well. And like I said, about 2 weeks later, after talking to him, he decided to buy one. All is well. And he even tried to buy, because on the website, I have a picture of the old Lobos trigger shoe. They're pretty much non-existent at this point. The website's still up, but you can't get those trigger shoes. It's a neat looking trigger shoe. It was not as good as the new Lazy Wolf trigger shoes that I use. I've since sold that trigger shoe. I had somebody who bothered me, very similar, but he was a good customer. And I was like, you know what? I'll get you taken care of. So he was trying to buy a trigger shoe that I don't even have anymore, the Lobos trigger shoe. I know this is kind of an intricate story, but it was a long 2 weeks. Finally, he bought one. Finally, he went on the website. He bought one. I ordered because I don't keep those on hand because I don't build a whole bunch of them. He ordered one. I bought the trigger shoe, had it coming my way. And within an hour, he hits me up. He says, "Hey, is there any way you can do a rush order on this trigger?" I don't normally do rush orders. I just don't. It just doesn't happen. It's normally a red flag. It's always a red flag. But I said, you know what? I just happen to have a VP9 trigger that I'm working on for someone. And I'm working on it for an actual friend. So he's not in a hurry. I knew to help this guy out and just do the tactical pontoon thing. I figured, you know what? I'll fit him in. I'll break my own rules. And he offered to send me extra money for a rush fee. I said, you know what? All right. Red flag, James, red flag. So he sends that to me on Venmo. He said, don't worry about writing up an invoice. I'll send it to you on Venmo. I'm like, okay. Well, what I did, this was Wednesday. This was actually right before the live stream with United R&D, Mike and Jason. So, no, it was Tuesday. He did the order the next day. So I said, I will get it out to you by the end of the week. I went in, I looked at where my VP9 trigger for my buddy was at. And I was like, you know what? I could get this thing knocked out. I am going to do this guy a solid. I'm going to go up and above and get this trigger out the next day. He paid me extra money. I'm gonna go the extra mile. That's the way I thought. So I do so. I finished the trigger up. Now, the thing is, this trigger shoe was not the trigger shoe that I have listed on the website. It's black. They've got multiple different versions of the Lazy Wolf trigger shoe. I had picked up for my buddy one that's got, it's a little bit shorter, and it's got a little machined line crease in the middle of it. I didn't think too much of it. And so I finished this up. I posted it on Instagram that I got it finished up, and I sent the guy a message saying, "Hey, I got this thing ready." Did not hear back from him. The next day, or that same day after I got it done, I had triggers that were going out, and I packaged it up. I got it ready. He sends me a message right before I left for the post office. "Hey man, that's not the same one as your website. I don't know if that's going to work." I said, "Well, this is the one I've got. It's going to, you know, let me know, and it'll just take longer to get the right one." I didn't hear back from. I waited at the house before leaving for the post office. I've only got so much time during the day, but I'm sorry if this is dragging on, but this is just one I got to get up. So I waited, and finally I left. I'm like, I've got 20 minutes to get to the post office. Hopefully I'll hear from him. And I'm walking into the post office, into the waiting room, and I get a message. "Oh, that's just not going to work. That yeah, just send me my rush feedback, and I'm going to wait for the other trigger. That one just doesn't match. It doesn't look right. It's not the one that you have on your website. I just can't do it." Now, I decided that was enough red flags. I decided that I knew that I would not win, and he would not feel good no matter what I did at this point. I've been down this road with customers before. And if I'm boring you guys, I apologize. I decided that it was beneficial to both of us and to my mental health for me to return his money, all of his money, even the rush fee, which most companies, if you rush fees and that sort of thing, are non-refundable. For me, I'm good. I will send all of the money back. So I did. I stopped what I was doing. I went back outside to my vehicle. On my phone, I gave him a full refund. Then I went to Venmo and I gave him a full refund, and that was it. I also had a phone call with Jason of United R&D to talk to. So it was a busy day. So I refunded him his money, and that was, in his words, very unprofessional. I did not get back with him. I didn't answer. He sent me like 6 or 7 messages. I was busy. I didn't get back to him. And that's when he blew up Instagram, posted the exact same thing about how terrible I was and how unprofessional I was on Instagram on like 3 or 4 different posts. And I thought, okay, let him get it out. And then he starts sending it to people that follow me on Instagram. Like I said, Stuart at Nordic Nevadan, he got one. United R&D got one. So I don't know how many different people. There were 3 or 4 or 5 different people that sent me messages that showed me that this guy was slandering me over sending his money back. What a day. So I got a hold of my buddy who I finished the trigger obviously early for, and I said, "Hey, you know what? You don't owe me anything on that trigger. It's not worth it to me. I want you to have this trigger. I will feel better." He hadn't paid me for it. Like I said, it was a buddy's trigger. I was hooking him up to get him one done. So I sent it to him for free. I said, just to for myself to feel better about that situation, it was better to allow that trigger to head out into the world away from me. Sometimes going out of your way, there are certain red flags that you do have to look out for. And I've seen enough customers to know about certain red flags. And sometimes I catch them early. sometimes like this one, I didn't catch it soon enough, because I do try to go out of my way. But that kind of gives you a slice of the week that I've had. So it's been a long week. It's been a good week though. Thought I would share that one with you. Yes, Matt, that is a good one. Let's talk about that. I actually saw a dust cover blown off on a dagger on another forum, or on another Facebook group, and they were kind of giving the dagger shit. And a dust cover doesn't normally just blow off. There's something, and so I kind of just posted on there. I'm like, what combination of parts? What were you doing? You don't blow a dust cover off normally. And then Matt on the dagger forums or dagger groups had kind of a PSA, public service announcement, about not using a ported barrel on a non-ported slide. And he had several pictures, and I think that exact same picture I saw in another group with the dust cover blown off, and literally, and I've never done it myself because I kind of figured that that's what would happen. The dust cover itself from here, literally right there, is gone. They blow off. I'm sure it probably hurt, especially depending on how you were holding the gun. You probably, whew. So that's been an interesting one. The dagger guys, and it's been done before. The probably reason why we're seeing it in the dagger groups is just you get a lot of newer gun people, I've noticed, in the dagger groups that maybe you're not seeing in some of the others. So yes, if you're going to run a ported barrel, definitely get a ported slide that matches up with the ports on your barrel. There are a variety of different windows, and there are a variety of different ports, and sometimes they don't match up. Chances are you would be okay-ish, but you might blow off your dust cover. Seems to be a thing that's going on, and to my knowledge, Matt, you can tell me if not, that is not covered by PSA's lifetime warranty, running the wrong barrel. Pretty sure, and if it is, they need to change that policy, because people need to do a little bit of research before they work on stuff. So be careful. That was a fun one that I saw. I hope everybody was safe, or at least didn't get hurt too bad. Just be careful. Desert Tactical, the striker spring I got from you is absolutely perfect. Well, thank you. I'm glad I got you hooked up. I do need to add those to the website. I've actually, since people watch my video, they've wanted to buy them, and I only have them as part of a kit, so I'll have to add them as just a 5-pound spring by themselves. 10 Christian MR2 scroll. One customer put 10 quarts of oil in a motor that only calls for 4.5 quarts. Oh man, and they wanted a warranty. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, you start adding too much oil to an engine, there is a point where it's too much, and that crankshaft starts flinging that oil all over the place, and you can hydrolock the engine. Terrible. That's got to be careful. I love customers, I love people, I love teaching people, but there are certain instances where people won't. They'll say they listen, and they'll do the exact opposite and then ask you why it happened. I had an interesting occurrence where I told a guy, this is not I promise this stream is not a me bitching stream, but it's been an interesting week. We've talked about tolerances in the trigger pin hole in triggers, and how the triggers on like the Gunco and the Boogeyman stuff that I use, they have good tolerances, so that trigger pin that goes through your frame so that trigger does not wiggle and wobble on that trigger pin. So there was a guy, and if Mike is still here, he had the fun of talking with him, and this guy had talked to me for a week or so or more, and he bought an Overwatch. Well, one of the triggers he bought was an Overwatch Polydat, which has just a really large trigger pin hole, so it wiggles. Well, I told him, hey, that trigger pin hole, it has a lot of slop in it. Somewhere along the line, in his mind, he thought I was talking about the pin that goes into the trigger bar. So he took a factory trigger and he knocked that pin out, and replaced. He took a factory trigger, knocked the trigger pin out, and he took the roll pin, which is a good roll pin, out of, I'm not a fan of roll pins, out of the Polydat. And in his mind, he figured that was what I was talking about. And he replaced it with that solid pin from a Glock trigger. And I told him, don't do that. You should not have done that. There's a difference in tolerance with those. I was talking about the trigger pin, and he just kept going around and around. And then he started asking me which trigger I would recommend. And he sends me a picture of the TWP Train with Purpose trigger shoe that I have and is on my website. He's seen my website. And then he sends me a picture of the Ranger Proof Vex trigger. He's like, which one of those would you suggest for me? And I'm like, well, I'd probably recommend the TWP, the one that I sell. I sell it because it's a really good trigger. As for the Ranger Proof trigger, I don't recommend it. And there are certain safety issues that come along with it. That was, I guess, not good enough for him. So he posted it on another group and wanted information. And then he comes back and he wants a discount on it to match the same price as Ranger Proof. And I said, can't do that. I'm sorry. It's a better Shane. Yes, you are triggered with a Leonidas. So anyways, it's been an interesting week. And this is just a kind of a snippet. I think they've kind of came out of the woodworks this week, but at the same time, I think it's time for me to take a little bit of time away from the trigger shop, because normally these don't bother me near as much as they have. These were some interesting ones this week for sure. So I've had a heck of a time. The Polydat is definitely a no-go. They have gone down in quality quite a bit. The aluminum ones, at least the last ones I used, those have been pretty decent. Not a huge fan of the Overwatch DAT or TAC or any of those. They're decent. They're solid triggers. Yeah. So anyways, it has been it has been fun, if you want to call it. Yes, stickers. I'm glad you like your stickers, Desert Tactical. As I said, when it comes to triggers, when it comes to pretty much gun stuff, Tactical Pontoon has quality, performance, value, but most of all, my sticker game's on point. You are not going to get a better sticker from anybody else, whether it's an off-the-shelf trigger or a custom trigger from another brand. You're not going to get a sticker like you will from Tactical Pontoon. Now, these will come back in stock soon, but the original Trigger Jedi, you got the baby Trigger Jedis. Gotta love the stickers. I love the stickers. That's one of the, I'm very proud of all my triggers. I'm pretty proud of my stickers too. Definitely some fun stickers. So that makes, you got a long week. Just remember, got fun stickers. And guys, I appreciate every single one of you, whether we've bumped heads before, or whatever it is. I appreciate the messages. I love talking about this type of stuff. I love being able to go through and troubleshoot and get you guys fixed up, even if it's not one of my triggers. I've done it for many people. I've had people that wanted to buy a trigger, and they, after they got finished bad mouthing the one that they had, I said, well, let's see what actually went down, and we got it taken care of, and they didn't need to buy a trigger. Maybe I never heard from them. Maybe they bought a trigger later on, but I'm here for that. I have fun as well. I enjoy it. Now, one person I do want to recognize, that would be here, MR2 Scroll, Christian. This guy, he's a hard worker. He's always, liking posts and that sort of thing. But most of all, the man knows how to value somebody's time. He he'll shoot me a message, and we might shoot a message back and forth about 2 or 3 times, and we're good. I appreciate that quite a bit. Doesn't mean I don't want to talk to everybody, but when I've got 4 or 5 different conversations going on, it's good to have somebody that just jumps in, gets to the point, and we're good. I appreciate that a lot. The one thing, and I do apologize if it seems like I'm on a I'm venting. I'm venting. Uh it's good. It's a good thing to do. If you've never messaged me before, don't send just yo or hey and then leave the message blank. Send a message, send a full message. Okay? That way I can prioritize it and get in there and figure out what I need to say. A yo or a hey or boss or just somewhat little, one word thing, unfortunately, that doesn't tell me what you need. It could be a variety of different things. Send me a full message. It helps. It does help. And I definitely appreciate that more than a yo, whether I've talked to you or not. uh, because that way I can prioritize in what I'm doing. Because there's a lot of times I'll be answering questions while I'm here in the shop building things and trying to keep up with people's orders. And as we all know, I'm a one man operation. It does get busy, and I appreciate talking to you, but I also have to keep all of the other things going on. So it's just a thought. But yes, I I appreciate it, Christian. I do. You're an inspiration. I like man. I'm kind of jealous being around those MR2s and building turbo cars and all of that sort of thing. I've not been really playing out in the shop very much because I'm busy in this shop. Um, but I do. And Stuart, for example, b- makes me some amazing shirts. Uh, Good dude, and I love talking to him about the way the business is going with the t-shirts. I'm excited to transition most of my t-shirts over that way and just build up a small business, because I mean that's where I mean that's all I am. Small business, very small business, uh, growing, and we've got some really good stuff coming. And I'm very thankful. Another thing, let's we'll get away from the my bitching. Get away from that. Let's talk about some other stuff. I can't promise I won't bitch a little bit. The G Flex. Come on. And Christian actually, he's the one who reminded me of this. And people have sent me links to it this week, but again, it's been busy. The G Flex, have you heard about it? The G Flex binary trigger seems to be coming out very soon. And you guys, if you've been around me, here we are, Tactical Pontoon, swimming with the pontoon, number 20. Go figure. I'm not a huge binary trigger fan, especially on pistols. Okay. Uh, I like machine guns. I do. I have my favorite one that I have shot was I believe it was a fox. It was either a Foxtrot Mike or a no, it was a CM. Anyways, it was a 9mm AR, fully suppressed, fully automatic. That was fun. That was something you could put on target, and even with my terrible skill, everything went where it was supposed to go. That was fun. I actually need to go back up to the range in Shreveport, Red River Range, awesome range, and go shoot that one again or some of their others. Excellent range, beautiful range. But binary triggers in ARs, not a huge fan. It's just kind of funky to me. In a pistol, in a Glock, even something like this that is more rifle than pistol at this point, uh, you're looking at wasting a bunch of ammo, more so than if it was fully automatic. Especially the link that MR2 Scroll sent me, Big Daddy Unlimited's little video on it. They were just I mean, the pistol was going all over the place, and I'm like, oh god, $200. It seems to be the price. It looks to be a factory trigger shoe. So for $200, you're getting the basic plastic trigger. You know, if you think about it, binary triggers normally are very expensive. So $200 is not bad. I don't plan on doing anything with these. Let me be completely honest. A variety of reasons. Okay. One, I don't want to deal with the mess of when they decide, and hopefully, don't get me wrong, hopefully nothing like that happens where where people get in trouble. But I don't want to get into that mess. The other thing is, from a safety aspect, I don't want to get into that mess either. Because you can do some really stupid shit with a binary trigger, especially anyways. And then the other part of it is, it's not in my wheelhouse. It's not something I enjoy. If you want to put a trigger shoe on it, you go for it. I will sell you a trigger shoe. You can put it on there, but I really don't foresee doing anything with them. I'm sure that other custom trigger company will sell you a trigger shoe for it, and maybe an upgraded spring kit or something for it, but that's not me. I really don't want to play in that arena. So the G Flex trigger, if you want a binary trigger for a Glock, the reality is, and I hope it's selectable. I didn't see where they were talking about it being selectable. If it's not selectable, let's be completely honest. A binary trigger for a Glock is very simple. It's very easy to do. And this is in no way, shape, or form a lesson or to teach you how to do it or me condoning this. But for me, a binary trigger is a mess up by not having enough cruciform to striker lug interface. Take that for what it is. A lot cheaper than $200, but there it is. Okay. Binary triggers, they're kind of a gimmick to me. And no selector. Oh, see, there we go. I'm not going to order one. Again, it's not really in my wheelhouse. It's not something I'm interested in. If people want to put an aluminum shoe on it, that's I'm sure there's a Vex trigger shoe out there that it can be thrown on there. So yeah, it's just not my thing. It's out there. Everybody's got it right, and everybody can enjoy what they can enjoy. And I'm all for that. Don't let me hold you guys back. If you want one, go have some fun. But there won't be a tactical pontoon version. People have asked me to do that, and it's just not going to be something I'm going to do. So I've got a lot of stuff go with. Hopefully the Glock performance triggers come back out. I've got people on a list that want my version, but there's none available right now. So that's kind of on hold. I'm still a huge fan of the tried and true variation of the Glock trigger with work. There's still a lot there. So yeah, G Flex trigger. There was something else I was going to bring up, and I cannot for the life of me. Like I said, my brain is just a little bit fried. If you haven't already, if you've enjoyed my ranting, just hit that like button just real quick. That would be fun. If you don't like my ranting, I think the dislike button is still there, but I can't see it. Unless you got there's a extra little thing you can add to your deal so you can see the dislikes. Did you snag one of the Ram Tactical? I did not. I know. I think he built. I think he's maybe the guy behind it. I don't know. The Ram Tactical leverage trigger. No, I have not bought one yet. I need to. It's something that will happen. Have you bought one, Matt? Why didn't you bought one? I'm kidding. Yeah, I need to buy one. There was a when it comes to triggers now, right now, for at least for this week, the FDEs are out of stock. United R&D got all of the FDE triggers that I have when it comes to the Peacemaker triggers, but I've got more coming in. I've got more triggers coming. I've got a big order of triggers coming in, but the FDE this week is out of stock. Later in the week, I'll have more. So that's just kind of a little bing. The more you know. So if you place an order this week with an FDE, it might be delayed just by a couple days. Black I've still got in stock. Gray I've got in stock. Gray and bronze, or gray and copper. If you guys are if you're gonna buy a Peacemaker and you've got kind of a stealthy build or something, you really need to look at doing the gray and copper. That trigger, I'm gonna go grab one. I don't normally do this during a live stream, but 1 minute. Ooh, okay. Gray and copper. If you've got like a Shadow Systems, I know they do a copper barrel. This guy is just beautiful. I love this combination. I foresee myself using this combination in probably this FCT build. Just this gray and copper, which means maybe I need to find a copper barrel just to match that. But man, if you're on my Instagram, you've already seen pictures of it. I just fell in love with it. Gray and copper. Give it a thought for your next trigger purchase. The gray and copper is just all. Dustin, how are you doing, man? Good to have you here. Desert Tactical, do you think or know if the aggressive arms trigger is the same trigger sold by AIM? Yes. Yeah, there are about 3 or 4 different places that are selling that one. It's I think the seller, I'll look into it, but or AIM is getting them from the same place as these guys. They're cheap. I know. I think it was Dave Rivera. He's got a video where he goes over that trigger. Man, my throat's kind of dry. He goes over that trigger, and people have been having trouble with the safeties, the springs and the safeties giving out, or the safety itself breaking. I haven't looked at the tolerance of the trigger hole. We'll do a video on it eventually. I'll get one in. It's the same trigger. The probably the biggest issue that I would have, aside from it being a Chinesium pile of crap, is that the trigger bar that they send with those is not one that I really recommend unless you're just using a factory connector. There's something about those trigger bars that I have had issues with different connectors, and you almost have to give it, far more cruciform to striker lug engagement than you normally would, which then makes it drag. It would make a great binary trigger bar. Let's just say it that way. I'll do a video on that specific trigger bar here at some time, and maybe an aftermarket trigger bar comparison. The PSA trigger bar is pretty good overall, but the AIM surplus trigger with that trigger bar is not one that I recommend. The AIM trigger, obviously I'm going to be uh, bias on trigger shoes, but even I can tell you that the tolerances aren't good. They're not going to last. The beautiful thing about the triggers that I use, and you guys can say again that I'm biased, there's a reason why I use what I use, is because the tolerances are there. They're very tight tolerances. They are for precision. They are a little bit more expensive. My drop ins, and people love this one. My drop ins are more expensive than other drop ins on the market, unless I'm on a sale right now, which is really it's a hell of a sale. The Peacemaker and TWP 4.5 systems are like $145. That's You're not going to find a full drop in setup for that price. That's just a stupid price. And sometimes I'll have the 4.0s down like the 150, 155 range. That is unbeatable. You really are not going to beat it for that price. And then you got your 3.5s and your 3.0s. I know Mike has the 3.0 and just loves it. That is a beautiful trigger setup. The 3.0, the Peacemaker 3.0. Just You're not going to find anything for that type of money that performs as well as it does. And that's the thing about the Peacemaker and the TWP drop-ins. Yeah, they're a little bit more expensive than say Apex or Overwatch. Agencies up there in price. CMC. Uh, but there's a reason. I use better components. And I don't have the buying power that they do. So if they're able to sell it for $130, I can almost bet you with their type of buying power, most of them, they're making a good amount of money. Myself, the margins are not, there's not a lot there. That's one of the reasons I did not get into drop-ins originally, was the margins for my type of work that I normally do takes a good amount of time, especially on my competition systems, which you notice do have they're more. Your excommunicado is $245. There's a lot of work that goes into an excommunicado that has to be paid for somewhere, including the components. That's why you're not going to see boogeyman trigger shoes in the drop-ins at the prices that I like. I worked very hard to get the margin, to get everything price wise with the drop-ins so that they were where they're at. I worked very hard to do so and to produce a trigger that if you've got a Peacemaker or a TWP system, most likely you're pretty happy. I've not had everybody's been very happy with them, and that excites me to know that the work that I did to make that happen. I'm glad to see it came to fruition. I know Mike here, Mike Huber, if I'm saying that right, it took some convincing. He had a fandom for another type of trigger that cost quite a bit more, and he loves that 3.0. I cannot blame him. Quality lasts longer after the price is forgotten. You speak the truth, Mike. You speak the truth. And that is something that I try to bring forward. The other thing that sets me apart is you are getting service before the sale and after the sale that you're not going to get from anybody else. Not and whether I make a sale or not. I've spent weeks on helping people that never bought anything, probably for better. But I've also spent time with people that never bought anything, and I got them hooked up with fixing what they already had. You're really not going to get that from Overwatch or any of these others. The personalized service is it's part of it, because you got to remember, whether it's Sunday, Saturday, Friday night, any of those times, people have hit me up and I've answered. Sometimes I don't. Rarely. If they just send yo, it might take a while for me to answer. But that time isn't free per se. It You may think, or if you've not been in business, you might think that that's free, but that time isn't free. I give it away for free per se, but uh, I'm on the clock all the time. So think about that, uh, because you're not going to get that from anywhere else. 24. I've had people hit me up because I am kind of a night owl. So if you hit me up early in the morning, you're probably going to wait a couple hours before you hear from me. But if it's late at night, there's a good possibility you will get an answer from me because I'm up, whether I'm building triggers or possibly at the gym late at night. Which is surprised some people. They'll send me an email at 3 a.m. in the morning, get an answer back at 3:02. It blows people away. But you're not going to get that type of service from anywhere else, and that has value. And again, you get some badass stickers. That alone, should be worth some money. Mike, yes. After talking to me, you realized I know my stuff. I'm personable. I know there were a couple times I did get a little short with you, Mike, and again, probably because the day I had a day, and I try not to, and I apologize, Mike, if any of that ever came through, because I am only human still. Yes, Stuart, the TWP I built, the 4.5 I built for your P80 with actually the Gray Ghost P80. That thing looks cool, and we hooked you up with a dagger slide, or gave you the idea. So yeah, what's the difference in the Peacemaker 4? Yes, Mike Birkland. The difference between the Peacemaker 4.5 and the 4.0 is they're the same system, except for one has a striker spring, and it's not some weak competition striker spring. It's what I consider duty rated, as in you're going to be able to run just about anything except for maybe some like leftover Russian ammo with it. So it should be good to go on that. Best stickers. Yes, Christian. And well, I try to bring my passion to it. I hear Shane. Yes, Shane. Destroy 453 in chat here. He is the guy to blame for me getting into Glocks. And when I got into Glocks, I fell down a rabbit hole, which brought me to here. I'm very thankful for where I am at. And I got into it, did not ever expect to be doing this. Reality wise, I thought maybe I'd when I dig into something, I normally, I might do a few things for other people, but it blew up. People finally found something that was different than what was on the market. And I mean, that's why I'm here. I built stuff that was different than what was on the market. I cared about making sure that what I put out there, and that's the whole reason why you're not going to see a binary trigger with the Tactical Pontoon name on it, is because I want to care about what I put out there. I don't want my name on crap. I've made mistakes. Do not get me wrong. Whenever I put my name behind Ranger Proof, that was a mistake. But I was early on there, and my name is no longer associated with them. I built a whole drop-in system for them, which you won't find anymore. They don't do drop-ins anymore, but they did for a while. So you live, you learn, you try to do as best as possible. They sent you, did they? They sent you a TP sticker? That's awesome. Toilet paper. Maybe have to incorporate that in the sticker. I got to send them more stickers. I have, as I said earlier, I have a bunch of triggers I'm sending out their way for the custom tactical pontoon builds that are coming out. Boy, I can't wait. Those are going to be really cool. Wait till you see them. It's not super Gucci as in like a full on range build. I love stuff like this with windows and everything like the G17L, but I like builds that have purpose as well. So the ones with United R&D are going to be closer to that. I'm really excited for them. We'll get some more information about those very soon. Polydat, I know, and you got one of the earlier, Stuart, you got one of the earlier Polydats where they still were holding their tolerances really well. As time went on, I got a pile of bad ones, a small pile of bad ones. And no, Matt, you can't have them. So yeah, I missed the Polydats when they were a lot better. Their tolerances were better, and that way I could offer a polymer shoe for a little bit less. But unfortunately, tolerances went to crap. Agency has their syndicate trigger shoe, but the supply of those is very hit or miss. Yeah, and most people don't want to do a polymer shoe. I understand that. So I pretty much stick to the aluminum. They're just a good aluminum trigger shoe. Again, there are bad ones. I do need to do a dedicated video for that. Let me talk about videos before we wrap things up. I don't want to go too much past an hour. Videos coming up. One, next week, there's a good possibility that I will not be in town to do swimming with the pontoon. Good possibility. It's going to depend on what happens this week. That also brings up the point that I may be out of town again for the following weekend. So there may be a break in the swimming with the pontoons, but if I do go out of town the following, what I'll do is we'll schedule something in the middle of the week and we'll catch up then. So we'll see how it goes. That way I can get some time away from the shop and not go as crazy. But videos, again, like I said, if you haven't seen it, the video on the boomerang, excellent video, at least I think so. Check it out. Check out last week's with Matt if you didn't get a chance to catch that. Matt's a good guy. He had a lot of good insight about some of the things going on at PSA. And if you have a dagger and you blow the dust cover off, send him a picture. That way you can post it. We can all get a good laugh. But if you do have Palmetto State Armory questions, he's a good resource. He's a genuine guy who, kind of like me, when it comes to passion, he will look things up. He will take time out of his day and get you information. Really good dude. I was glad to have him on the show. He will be back on the show. Back to videos. My goal is to go through the Tactical Pontoon builds from the past to ones that are coming out, and I want to do tabletop just so you guys can take a look at them. Some of these builds are from people that are no longer in the business, so they're kind of a window into the past. Kind of neat, and we can go through the different parts. Then as for like informational videos, trigger shoes, I've got that one still in the back of my to-do list about trigger pin holes, different things, because I do have a video on trigger shoes themselves. It's older. Some of the information has changed, and how I look at trigger shoes has definitely changed. Because like I said, that's probably a 3-year-old video at this point. So I do need to update that, get you guys some more information on those. Trigger bars, we've gone through connectors. There's a couple other little things I want to bring up about connectors. I do want to do a install, kind of some tips on a Leonidas. I have gotten that Leonidas system very close to almost drop in. Of course, with different variations, there will be issues that pop up, but I do want to do a video to kind of help people, maybe that, especially gunsmiths, that people take their stuff to. That way they can reference that, because the level of gunsmith knowledge is not the greatest, I've noticed, across the country. Steven, you didn't get a notification. I need to what I need to do, Steven, is I need to put you, because I started early. I need to just, I got your number. I just need to send you a text. That way we can keep up to date on when the streams are. You just have to go back and watch this one. It's pretty decent. I bitch a little bit too much. Hope people found that somewhat entertaining. A little look into the life of. But if you have video ideas, a G40, you got a G47. All right. If that's the other thing I've not found here locally is a Gen 5 G20 or G21. If somebody's got one, at the very least, if you could pull the slide off and take a picture of the trigger components, I haven't found one here locally, so that I can pick one up and check to see what they've changed in there. I'm not getting good information out there as to what has been changed inside of there, if anything's been changed in the big calibers. Because I'm getting people that want triggers, but as of yet, I can't verify what really works in them. So if somebody's got one on my list, shoot me an email with some pictures. That will at least give me an idea until I get a hold of one here in the shop. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, number 20, swimming with the pontoon. Here we are. I did, when I started the lives, I really wasn't sure if it was something I was going to be able to do or enjoy doing, but I really, especially at least once a week, I enjoy these live streams. Get a chance to talk to you guys, answer some questions, release some steam, vent, if you will, and you guys listen, and I appreciate that. But yeah, number 20. I just did not know if I was going to be able to get that far on live streaming, and it's definitely pushed me to continue doing videos now that I say I have more time, but honestly, I work more now than I ever did, which is a good thing. Not complaining. But I've been able to do more videos, and I want to do videos. I enjoy doing some of the videos. I had a couple different funky audio issues. Like I said, when I was supposed to do the finger bang, God damn it, Zafiri Precision finger blaster trigger. I recorded that, and the audio's gone, and those triggers I don't have anymore. So we'll have to catch up later on a video on the finger blaster. I like their slides. I like their barrels. They've been pretty good to me. Let's see. Yes, Shane, I do need to come out your way back to Florida. It's been far too long. That was SRT Showdown in 2014 was the last time I was down your way. Holy crap, that is way too. That's damn near 9 years ago at this point. Yeah, I do need to come your way, Shane. Shane, I have known since, well, Shane and Scott, I have known them for a long time. We rode around in our shitbox neons of various power levels, and before this trigger thing ever happened. So that's just fun. Stuart, I'm telling you, once you have a Leonidas, and I warn people, if you do a Leonidas, you will be ruined for anything else, even this Glock performance trigger, any of that sort of thing. If you had a Leonidas, you just won't be able to go back anywhere else. It's just the truth. They're a lot of work. The Leonidas is a lot of work to get where it is. I did for a while want to do one on the slim lines, but it's not gonna happen right now. I just can't do it efficiently. There's just not enough room to do it the right way. I built a couple here in the shop. I had a pre-order list, but I took that down, and it's not gonna happen right now. And you don't. I mean, everybody wants what they want. maybe we'll revisit later. But the Leonidas, and the Leonidas right now is not available for the 45 caliber and 10 millimeter. Though the issue with those is the vertical extension on the trigger bar. That vertical extension, you really cannot modify it much or it's going to hang up. And even if you did modify it, the way that it's placed, there's no way to really do it safely. Some of your aftermarket trigger shoes that take up a lot of pre-travel, say for example, Agency, Ranger Proof, they're kind of riding the line. But that's, anyways. You found a 1.5 millimeter Allen key. That is what you need for your over travel. Yes. Why do I not send them out with all of the orders? It's buying power. It's just not something I added to my list of things. Again, I am a small operation. I do try to take care of everything, but Allen keys, you probably got one in your stash, like you said, and your CZ came with an Allen key that was just the right size. Anyways, guys, I think we're gonna call it. My voice is getting kind of scratchy. And it's Sunday. I'll let you guys enjoy your last little bit of Sunday without listening to me gripe. I'm going to try to take it easy, not work on any more trigger stuff tonight, and get back at it tomorrow. So yeah, guys, I appreciate it. Jesse, good to see you here, man. Good to see you here. Mike, you have a good night as well. I'm gonna try, and then we'll get back at Christina. Good night, ladies. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. I need to shoot you a message too. All right. I'll catch you guys later, and ladies. Later. And we'll do it all over again. Until then, have some fun.